In a move that's turned heads worldwide, the United States has launched a diplomatic initiative that few saw coming. The announcement has sparked intense debate among analysts, politicians, and ordinary citizens alike, as the world tries to make sense of what this could mean for the future of Eastern Europe. President Donald Trump has announced a bold new direction for U.S. policy in Eastern Europe, breaking with years of precedent. Rather than relying solely on sanctions and isolation, Trump is betting on engagement and negotiation, hoping to achieve what previous administrations could not. On November 9, 2025, Trump took to Truth Social to nominate lawyer John Coale as the new U.S. Special Envoy to Belarus. The announcement, made directly to his millions of followers, bypassed traditional media channels and immediately set off a flurry of reactions in diplomatic circles. Coale's mission is clear: secure the release of individuals the U.S. considers unjustly detained in Belarus. These prisoners, many of whom are political dissidents or activists, have become symbols of the ongoing struggle for human rights in the region. This marks a significant shift from years of isolation and sanctions, signaling a new era of direct negotiation with President Lukashenko's regime. For the first time in years, American and Belarusian officials are preparing to sit down at the same table, raising hopes for a diplomatic breakthrough. Trump's approach is clear: open communication, even with adversaries, can save lives. He believes that dialogue, rather than confrontation, is the key to resolving even the most entrenched conflicts, and he's willing to take risks to prove it. The U.S. Embassy in Minsk has been closed since 2022, so this is a calculated risk to test if Lukashenko is ready to move Belarus out of Moscow's shadow. With no official diplomatic presence on the ground, the stakes are higher than ever, and every move will be closely watched. Coale's immediate task is daunting: work for the release of 50 more detainees, building on recent progress. Each release would not only be a diplomatic victory, but also a lifeline for families desperate to see their loved ones return home. This is not just about diplomacy, it's about achieving real humanitarian results. The hope is that these efforts will pave the way for broader cooperation and perhaps even a gradual thaw in U.S.-Belarus relations. The world is watching to see if this gamble will reshape the region's balance of power and whether Trump's unconventional strategy can deliver peace and progress where others have failed. John Coale isn't just any lawyer, he's a trusted Trump confidant and a veteran of high-stakes negotiations. As Trump's personal lawyer and former deputy special envoy to Ukraine, Coale knows the region's complexities. He's already proven himself by negotiating the release of 100 detainees from Belarus earlier this year. This success gives him credibility in both Washington and Minsk. Trump's choice of Coale signals a commitment to results, not just rhetoric. By doubling down on a proven negotiator, the U.S. is sending a message. It's serious about freeing prisoners and improving relations. In a world where trust is rare, Coale's track record stands out. His appointment is a clear sign that the U.S. expects real progress. At the heart of this diplomatic push are hundreds of political prisoners in Belarus, opposition figures, journalists, and protesters. The U.S. sees their detention as a violation of basic human rights, not just a legal issue. Trump has called them hostages, framing their plight as a moral crisis. His goal: secure the release of all 1,400 detainees. These prisoners symbolize the repression that followed Belarus's disputed 2020 election and the brutal crackdown on protests. Their freedom is now the central demand in U.S.-Belarus talks. For families, every release is a lifeline and proof that diplomacy can make a difference. The U.S. effort is about more than geopolitics. It's about reuniting families and defending fundamental rights. Success will be measured in lives changed, not just treaties signed. To understand this diplomatic opening, you have to know Belarus's leader, Alexander Lukashenko. In power for over 30 years, he's long balanced between Russia and the West. But the 2020 protests and Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine pushed him firmly into Moscow's orbit. Belarus relies on Russia for trade, energy, and security, especially after Putin's support helped Lukashenko survive mass protests and sanctions. Yet, Lukashenko now seeks some diplomatic breathing room. Engaging with Trump may help him ease sanctions and regain legitimacy, without alienating Moscow. For the U.S., this is a chance to pull Belarus slightly away from Russia and keep communication lines open with Putin. The stakes are high. This isn't just about Belarus, but the broader balance of power in Eastern Europe. Lukashenko's motives are a mix of economic survival and a desire to be more than just Putin's junior partner. Optimism about U.S.-Belarus relations is rooted in a real breakthrough: the September 2025 release of 52 prisoners. This was the largest such release by Lukashenko's government, following a direct appeal from Trump. The freed group included opposition leaders, journalists, and protesters, proof that quiet diplomacy can deliver results. This move was the product of months of behind-the-scenes talks, including a pivotal Trump-Lukashenko phone call. While just a fraction of the 1,400 detainees, it was a crucial first step that built trust and momentum. The success of this release led directly to Coale's appointment as special envoy. It proved that direct engagement can yield real humanitarian victories. The U.S. is using a classic carrot-and-stick strategy with Belarus. Years of tough sanctions isolated Lukashenko's regime, targeting key industries and officials. But after the September prisoner release, the U.S. lifted sanctions on Belavia, Belarus's state airline, a visible reward for cooperation. This showed Minsk that positive steps would be met with real benefits. The message is simple: more prisoner releases could mean more sanctions relief. Coale's job is to keep this process moving, pressing for more releases while offering incentives. The approach is transactional, pragmatic, and focused on results. Both sides are leveraging what they control. The U.S., its economic power; Belarus, its prisoners. The hope is to turn a point of conflict into a path for progress. This renewed U.S.-Belarus dialogue is about more than freeing prisoners. It's a strategic move aimed at reshaping the geopolitical landscape. With the U.S. Embassy in Minsk closed since 2022, Washington lost direct influence in Belarus, creating a vacuum that other powers could exploit. By sending delegations and appointing a special envoy, the U.S. is rebuilding a vital bridge at a critical crossroads in Europe, aiming to re-establish its presence and influence. This channel allows the U.S. to discuss not just humanitarian issues, but also regional security and the war in Ukraine, which has far-reaching implications for global stability. Because of Lukashenko's ties to Putin, talks with Minsk can offer insights into Moscow's thinking and serve as a back-channel for delicate communications. For Belarus, dialogue offers a way to reduce sanctions and regain some international legitimacy, which is crucial for its economic and political stability. Lukashenko's invitation to Trump for a visit is a strong signal of his desire for renewed cooperation and a potential shift in alliances. Trump's reported acceptance could mark a dramatic turnaround in relations, opening doors for new diplomatic and economic opportunities. If progress continues, this high-level engagement could move the relationship from cautious negotiation to real partnership, benefiting both nations. The stakes are high: stability, security, and a chance for real change in the region, making this dialogue not just important, but essential. With Coale's appointment, the next steps for U.S.-Belarus relations are coming into sharper focus. The immediate priority is clear: secure the release of 50 more detainees, a move that would signal real progress and build trust between the two countries. Each successful release not only brings hope to families, but also creates momentum for further negotiations. These positive steps could encourage the U.S. to offer additional concessions, such as easing more sanctions or even moving toward greater diplomatic recognition. The ultimate U.S. objective, however, remains ambitious: the release of all 1,400 political prisoners currently held in Belarus, a process that will require not just time and patience, but also careful diplomacy and sustained engagement. As trust is gradually rebuilt, the scope of talks could widen to address broader issues, including regional security concerns and the possibility of modest reforms within Belarus itself. These reforms could range from increased press freedoms to more open political participation, signaling a new era for the country. But significant challenges remain. Belarus's deep-rooted ties to Russia complicate any potential shift toward the West. Moves that are perceived as too pro-Western could provoke a strong reaction from Moscow, so U.S. diplomats must proceed with caution, balancing the desire for progress with the realities of regional geopolitics. Ultimately, the future of this relationship will depend on the political will and commitment of both President Trump and President Lukashenko. If both leaders remain dedicated to dialogue and compromise, we could witness a major realignment in Eastern Europe, with ripple effects across the region. The best-case scenario is within reach. All political prisoners freed, most sanctions lifted, and a new chapter of cooperation and stability opening between the U.S. and Belarus. Such an outcome would mark a true humanitarian and diplomatic breakthrough, one that could inspire hope for peaceful change elsewhere. It would stand as proof that, even in the most challenging circumstances, dialogue and persistence can overcome the deepest divides and pave the way for a brighter future. As this new chapter begins, it's worth recognizing the leadership that made it possible. Trump's direct engagement and focus on humanitarian outcomes have brought hope to many families. Lukashenko's decision to release prisoners took political courage and opened the door to renewed dialogue. John Coale's proven negotiating skills inspire optimism for further progress. The mission ahead is vital, reuniting families and defending basic rights. While challenges remain, the foundation for a better U.S.-Belarus relationship is now in place. The world is watching, hopeful that this bold diplomatic effort will succeed and set an example for resolving even the toughest conflicts.